It's been quite a week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Quite a week. In some places, happiness and family and joy. And in other places, unspeakable tragedy and suffering. Amen?
Amen.
I think that this week will be a Thanksgiving that the people in Ferguson, Missouri will always remember. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I have some questions about what went on there, both this week and previously. How about you?
Yeah.
I jotted down a couple of them. I don't understand some things. How does interrupting economics and commerce rectify or help race relations? Why couldn't the police officer shoot the offender to disable rather than kill? Why 5 shots? Anybody here wonder about that? Does accepting Christ release us from keeping the law? Does retaliation reduce or justify injustice? Has PC improved race relations in the United States? You know what PC is? No. Has it helped? I have to tell you, in all honesty, the aftermath frightens me more than the tragedy. I understand the tragedy of the loss of life. I think it's unimaginable to lose an 18-year-old son who at the least should be playing in the NFL, right? I mean, Oakland or Jacksonville could stand to help, couldn't it? That's an inside joke. But I listened as carefully as I can to some of the aftermath, and I find it interesting. In fact, I find it prophetic. So I went back for a few minutes and I jotted down some notes from a book that I highly recommend. And some of you have been around a while know that I talk about this book every now and then. It's Understanding the Times, not written by a Seventh-day Adventist, but it's analysis of worldviews. And worldviews affect ethics. And ethics affect how we act. And this tragedy in Missouri is becoming a political football, and there are sinister forces at work. And these sinister forces reflect the Adventist worldview, which is what? In one short phrase, what is the Adventist worldview? The great controversy. The struggle between right and wrong. Sinister forces. Secular humanism. There are 6 major worldviews according to the author of this book. Secular humanism, Marxist-Leninism, you thought that was gone, but it's not. Cosmic humanism, and postmodernism. How do they see law? How do they see society? How do they see ethics? How we treat each other is based on law. So law is the core concept. Ethics are the derivation. In other words, you have the rule, but then you have the applications. Alright? Secular human ethics. Who makes the rules is the big question. And the answer in secular humanism, which is an atheistic system of belief, says man makes them. Human beings make them. Moral relativism, which leads to moral relativism, which can be translated another way or said another way, situational ethics, which is based on evolution, which is based on the core concept of the survival of the fittest. What benefits the majority in society? man-made rules. Secular humanism. There is no supernatural. There are no ultimates. There are no absolutes. Marxism and Leninism, hyphenated, ethics. There is no God. And the goal of society is to have no social, economic, or class or ethnic distinctions. Sounds good at first blush, doesn't it? No distinctions. To achieve this, there will be a change in social moral ideals. So to change to where we have a sameness among everybody, there will be a change. There needs to be a change in social moral ideals. Therefore, old societal morals may need to be abandoned. I heard that on television this week, being espoused by certain individuals. I can name them. So we may have to do away with the old morality and the old morals. Law, morality, religion are bourgeois interests. Do you know who the bourgeois are or is? It's you. Most of us here today are in the middle class. We're the bourgeois. Middle to upper class in communism or socialism is the middle class. These concepts lead to utilitarianism, which is a fancy word for the end justifies the means. And that is outlined in Marxist and Leninist writings. Cosmic humanism, ethics. Cosmic humanism is based on theological pantheism or philosophical monism. What does that mean? Each of us is a microcosm of the universe. Therefore, each of us is a God. What feels right for you is right, says, and that was a quote, by the way, from Brad Pitt. Free will, the enactment of the realization, free will is, the definition now, the free will is the enactment of the realization that you are God. Shirley MacLaine. Now, the reason I put their names in there is because these people have been and are making movies that young Adventists like to go to. Little realizing how much they're being brainwashed subtly by beautiful or attractive people. Cosmic humanism. Each of us is a God.